I guess we're ready to get started. I want to thank you all for being here, and this is really an important day, and it's important for a number of reasons. First of all, it was one of our goals. It was one of my goals as a candidate for county executive, but it was also one of the goals of the new county government to really take public safety seriously and to try to coordinate public safety improvements and efforts across the county. And I was proud that when I ran for the office, I was really the only candidate for the office that made that a central part of why I ran. When we took office, we put together a team from Norberto Colon and Valerie Proper and others. We put together a team that was really going to take it seriously. And the challenge that I put forth to them was, let's develop a real public safety plan for Cuyahoga County that's inclusive of a lot of different issue areas. And you've seen a number of those now as time has gone on. We've gone through a planning process. The planning process isn't done yet, but you're starting to see a real effort. And the suburbs are our partners in a lot of those efforts. So for instance, as you know, earlier this year we started our impact unit, which is, we're the only county in Ohio, I'm just very proud of this, we're the only county in Ohio that's been adding to the number of law enforcement officers on the streets. And that was just one aspect of what we're doing, and they've had fabulous results. They've made an enormous number. Actually, they're at about 300 arrests now that they've made just in the last few months, and they've been working in just very strong partnership with our local police forces, not as a replacement for local police officers, but as part of a support network for them. This is really the next big step that we need to take, I think, with public safety. We started with the assumption that the status quo was not acceptable. And why do I say that? I say that because as we stand here today, we have 48 separate what are called PSAPs, which are public service or public safety answering points. So in other words, there's 48 different places where when somebody makes a 911 call, where that call may be answered in a county of about 1.3 million individuals. That is far in excess of any nationally recognized standard. And it doesn't serve us well. It doesn't serve us well in several different respects. First of all, it does not serve us well financially. It's a waste of money. You have duplicated and in many cases, or duplicative and in many cases outdated equipment that's being used at some of these PSAPs. Secondly, you have redundant and overlapping systems, either on the tech side or the tech maintenance side or even personnel. And in a time of very tough municipal budgets, it just doesn't make sense for us to be reinventing the wheel 48 different times. And it also leads to confusion. Where should somebody be dispatched? Who should respond? There's more opportunities to make mistakes and not use technology the way that we should. So the status quo was unacceptable. In the next, actually in the coming days, we're going to be presenting two things to County Council for their review and their comment and their suggestion and their contributions. One is an overall public safety plan for Cuyahoga County, and it's not ready for release yet today. I do have it with me, but none of you are allowed to see it. But trust me, there's actually more than a cover here. There actually is content here. But it's very close to being done, and we're going to be submitting that to council. And we also have and it covers everything from emergency response to officers on the street to these technology issues and 911 issues. And then we have a specific 911 master plan, which is also going to be submitted to council. Actually, the Public Safety Committee of County Council has a meeting tomorrow, and we're going to be having some of these discussions. That takes place at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, chaired by Councilman Gallagher. So we're going to be interested in having that discussion. I really want to offer my gratitude to the people in our Norberto Colon and Valerie and their staff, because as I've said before, they were not. The easiest way to come up with a master plan is to take last year's master plan and just update it, right? So you just take what you had, dust it off, change the dates a little bit, maybe add a couple paragraphs here or there. Those of us in government have seen this many, many times, right? They were really starting from scratch. We challenged them because the county didn't have these types of plans. So we have really tried to look at what are the best practices nationwide and then start this conversation and then start implementing it. But we were also very cognizant of the fact that those discussions had already started happening in Cuyahoga County before we ever even took office, because you've got some great civic leadership in Bedford Heights, in Bedford, Maple Heights, and elsewhere, that they've already taken this bull by the horns and have already started working on the issue. So we weren't going to dictate to them what to do, but we wanted to be partners with them. And what we're announcing here today is an assistance with them to help them in their plan. And I'm going to turn it over to them so that they can talk about it. I do want to recognize the fact that County Council has been extremely supportive of this and has taken a leadership role as well. But let me give you a couple of the specifics anyway of what we're going to be doing here today and the efforts that we're helping with. First of all, again, I have to give credit to Bedford Heights and their partners, because the lion's share of the grant and all the work that came from their efforts. That's number one. We're supplementing it with $180,000 of county money. It's an important contribution, but most of the sweat and work on this whole project was really done by our local partners. It's also very important to recognize our other partners in this whole process. First of all, university hospitals, and we have some representatives here today from university hospitals, and I want to recognize them because it's actually physically going to be located in some of their facilities. But Dan Ellenberger and Don Barnes from university hospitals, they're an important local partner because these facilities have to be housed somewhere, and they're a perfect location for it. And so we appreciate everything that they have put into the process. In addition to that contribution that we're making, we're also taking another step in that we have contracted with Cleveland State University to develop other plans for other cities to consolidate the way that these cities have agreed to do so. And that's so important, because these consolidations don't just happen by themselves when money gets tight. There's a whole process that has to be gone through. And we have very little room for error because we're dealing with public safety. So one of the things I think you're going to see happen is, after this is announced, you're going to see cities that haven't gone down this road look at what Maple Heights and Bedford did and say, how can we do that? How can we save money like they did? How can we improve our response the way that they did? But there's a whole process that has to be gone through in order for them to get there. CSU is going to be a partner with them in that. So we've committed, and actually it was approved today at a controlling board meeting we had earlier today. We approved $270,000 of a contract with CSU. They're going to help with a planning process for the next step for other communities that are looking at doing this. And so I think we're finally really fulfilling not just our own public safety goals, but also the regionalism goals that people expected from this county government. There's a lot of talk about regionalism. There's a lot of rhetoric about it. What you're seeing here today is real. It's going to save money. It's going to improve service. And you have public officials here, and I'm talking about the local officials here, that put aside petty local concerns and territorial concerns and really did what was best for both their own residents and the county as a whole. So with that being said, I want to recognize, I'll start to my right here and recognize the great mayor of the city of Bedford Heights and my friend Fletcher Berger. Mayor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to just speak briefly about this. But before I say anything about this, let me give you the person who really brought this vision to me some years ago. I think he's here somewhere. There, my fire chief. When I became the mayor, he was the first person who articulated this vision of having a regional dispatch to me. It was so obvious and so plain that I immediately embraced that. And we have been working on that ever since. And he has certainly been the spark that has been causing a lot of this to happen. You know, I can understand to a mild degree why people are hesitant to do this. For one thing, in order to be willing to do this, you have to be willing to give up something. Perhaps that's some control, perhaps that's some visibility in your community or what have you. But and Ed talked a lot about the money, and I'm just going to throw some numbers out. If you have 3 communities that are spending more than $500,000 to provide a service, it only makes sense to combine that service and reduce the cost, especially when there are grant dollars available to help with that. Chief Lefferts' leadership was able to bring in about $800,000 from the federal government. We are grateful that the county is partnering with us. And how much is that you're putting in? 400 or 2? He's putting in $180,000 of that. And some other people are putting in some money here and there. So most of this money is going to come from someplace other than our immediate coffers. But it's not just the money. We need to move into an area where we're able to provide better service to our residents. It is no longer adequate to simply be able to have someone call and you say, help is on the way. In the new age, you need to be able to give those folks assistance. You need to be able to talk them through the emergency that they're going through and give them assistance. So this is going to give us the opportunity to save money, to provide better service. And I think for residents in these communities, as well as other communities, which, by the way, we are inviting to join us. This is a very unselfish thing. We want to build this center so that it will be able to include many other cities that will come along. Because as these economic times become more difficult, that's what they're going to have to do. And so just imagine the difference with you making a phone call and someone saying help is on the way versus they take you through some questions. You know, where is the person bleeding? Where are they bleeding? Focus on this pressure point, do this. Or if they're choking, getting some instructions, you know, clear the airway, lay them on their side. These things, the 2 minutes that it will take the professionals to get to you can save lives. And that is really one of the key things that we want to put in front of these communities as we articulate to them why we're doing this. So I'm very happy. I'm very grateful to you. Certainly, I'm grateful to University Hospital, and I am most grateful. I am most grateful for the chiefs, the police chiefs, and the fire chiefs who have stepped up to the plate and said, this is more important than our own little kingdom, and we are going to make this better because I do think that one of the things that holds us back is we're trying to be too territorial. And we are going to have to get out of that if we're going to survive and provide the best for our communities. So thank you very much, Ed. Appreciate you.
Great. Thank you. At this time, I want to recognize the council president of Maple Heights City Council, Jackie Albers. Jackie?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually a stand-in for the great mayor of Maple Heights, Jeff Lansky, who is out of town. And I do need to tell you that I have not been involved in all of the meetings that have been going on. I've been kind of on the fringe level. But I do believe that for all these years that we have talked and talked and talked about regional collaboration and working together, this is really a dream come true. The previous fire chief started a little bit of a conversation, and then our chief, present chief, stepped in, and with his passion and his deep commitment to this project has really pushed it forward for our community, along with our chief as well. I'm so pleased to see that we are being involved in this, in the cooperation with the other communities. I think it's a fantastic idea. And of course, I can't possibly be as eloquent as Mayor Berger because I haven't been intimately involved. But I think it's a wonderful thing for Maple Heights. Our communities all struggle to try to maintain budget, to try to get out of the holes that have been dug by our economic situations. And I think this will be a beginning. It may not be the ultimate answer, but we are pushing ahead, and I think eventually it will be an outstanding success. And I'm certainly looking forward to seeing it come to fruition. The money that we are receiving today is is a good start, an excellent start. And I certainly am pleased to hear of the hospitals and CSU getting involved as well. It's all that collaboration that makes this whole Northeast Ohio a great place to be involved. I am also a part of the Northeast Ohio City Council Association, who also does this kind of promotion, and I will certainly take this one back to them and make sure that they're aware of it as well. Again, thank you all, and thank you so much, Ed.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. At this time, I'd like to recognize, to say a few words, the city manager of the city of Bedford, Hank Angelo. Hank.
Thank you.
Sure.
First, I want to send Mayor Postic's regrets. He was not able to attend. And there are a lot of thank yous we could probably make, but I do want to say our relationship with the county, Ed's active involvement by having his staff with us all the time, I don't think we could find a better group of people to work with, and I am very, very pleased. Paula, you've been a godsend for us. We're looking at a partnership that's going to be hopefully the premier PSAP for the county. At the same time, we will also be the poster child for the county. So it's important not only for the county, but for our three cities to have this thing succeed. And aside from the money, the safety of our residents is probably our primary concern, I should say. So we're very pleased to be here, to be a part of what's going on in the county and the regionalization program that Ed is heading, fostering, and pushing along. We are the beneficiaries. The residents of the county are definitely beneficiaries. And we do appreciate the hospital's involvement. And following in the sheriff's footsteps, Bob Reed, who was also a part of the committee at one time. I'm happy to be here, and again, I can't thank you enough, Ed.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Couple quick words more, and then we're going to sign this treaty. Mayor Berger said recognized a couple people who should have been the folks, the chiefs that helped put this together. I just talk about this issue. They live with this every day. So the folks that actually live in this world on a daily basis, this means changing the way they do things, and they put the public's good ahead of any personal trepidation they might have, and that takes a lot of guts. It's easy for those of us from the outside to preach about it, but people setting aside any differences they might have to do something for the greater good that's going to make people safer, that's going to save lives and save dollars at the same time, that doesn't happen enough, and they deserve a lot of credit for it. So they have my and the county's gratitude for it. And also Sheriff Reed, I was remiss in not mentioning them. He's been a big supporter of this issue. You're still a resident of Bedford, aren't you? Yeah, and so he's going to personally experience this service, but he knows these issues. Yeah, that's right. As a former city manager, he knows these issues, and as somebody that's involved in safety on a daily basis, he certainly appreciates it. And I just want to conclude by saying also, again, that this is what we're doing here today in this document that we signed. It really is going to send a very positive ripple effect across the county, because it's not just people talking about cooperating, or wouldn't it be nice if it happened. It's real, it's substantive, it will save money, it will save lives, and people were able to come together in different political jurisdictions and do the right thing. And the county isn't just preaching about it, they're doing most of the work, but the county is making a real contribution. And that's why this new government was set up in the first place. So with that being said, I'd invite my three colleagues here to go ahead and sign off on this. Gentlemen, the deed is done. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you. Thank you.